I genuinely believe that people who obsess over video games have the highest potential out of anyone on planet Earth to be like a massive success in life. Because all the tools that you learn and utilize in video games, I mean, they're applicable to your day-to-day lives. You just need to apply it to your day-to-day lives. What is up, people? How you doing? My name is Mike. I have this nice little windshield contraption going on, so I can't spin the camera around. But yeah, we're somewhere. Today I want to talk about video games. And I know I already have a video about why I quit video games, but I never really followed up as to how I quit. One thing that I'm starting to realize is that quitting video games is really difficult. It becomes a habit. I remember personally, I would come home from a day at work and my first thought is to throw everything down, boot up my computer, and just play a game or two of League of Legends to just unwind from the day. Anyone who plays League of Legends knows that League of Legends does not help you unwind from the day. League of Legends only adds to your stress, right? But that's not what I thought about at the time. And I think that because gaming ends up being so ingrained in our daily routines, even if you were to quit gaming for 24 hours, you find yourself in a situation where you have a lot of free time, you're really bored, and you just don't know what to do. So here's what I did, and here's what worked for me as far as removing video games from my life permanently, relatively permanently. I think the most important thing when you decide to quit gaming is to quit with intent. It's really easy to just say, I'm done with this, I quit. You know, I never want to play video games again. They're a waste of time, or maybe it's like you're too dependent on them. Maybe they make you feel depressed. I know for a while gaming kind of put me in a dark place, right? So you have your reason to quit, but you need to have something else that drives you forward that's not negative. Don't quit because you're sick of wasting time. Quit because you have other things you want to do. Don't quit because you don't like getting yelled at by kids on Xbox Live. Quit because you want to make new friends. When you quit because of negative reasons, I feel like that carries on with you. When you quit in search of more positive alternatives, then you can use your free time to seek those things out. So that's really important that I found. Another thing that really helped me quit gaming is to replace what gaming provided for me with, different things. So a huge thing for me is competition. I've been competing in sports. Yeah, I've been competing in sports. I've been competing in games. I've been competing my entire life. I love competition. And one of the best things about multiplayer games is that you're constantly in competition with other people. You could boot up a game and within 20 minutes, you're competing with people all around the world who are at similar or higher skill levels than you, or sometimes much lower, let's be honest. So gaming can really help provide that feeling of competitiveness. So instead of competing in video games, I started competing in real life. I looked at my peers. I looked at people around me and I said, look at what they're doing. I could do that too, but I could do it better. My new game became, how am I going to take what people are doing in reality and put my own spin on it? I no longer compete with the enemy top laner. I no longer compete with the enemy jungler. I'm no longer competing to destroy the Nexus. I'm competing to win at life. And a big part of that for me has manifested physically, in that I go to the gym 6 days a week. And there's a group of guys at the gym. We all do calisthenics. And every time I go in, they just show up and do ridiculous calisthenics movements. They can do front levers. They just walk up to a bar and start doing muscle ups like it's nothing. And I told myself, I want to do that. If they can do it, I can do it. So all the energy that I would put into gaming, researching, looking at patch notes, trying to figure out what are the best builds, trying to look at streamers to see what tricks do they use to CS and what are the best jungle paths and gank paths. No. Instead, I'm looking up different technique videos for muscle ups. What muscle should you be engaging? What are different progressions that you can use to unlock your first muscle up? And I actually have been able recently to do muscle ups, mostly with a resistance band. But if you were to tell me a year ago that I'd be doing muscle ups, that wasn't even on the list for me. I didn't even care about that a year ago. But here I am, right? So I'm seeing massive progress in real life. And I think honestly, it's because of how much time and energy I put into gaming. I genuinely believe that Hardcore gamers, people who obsess over video games, have the highest potential out of anyone on planet Earth to be like a massive success in life. Because all the tools that you learn and utilize in video games are, they're applicable to your day-to-day lives. You just need to apply it to your day-to-day lives. So in video games, if you can't beat a level, what do? You just keep going over and over and over. After a while, you get sick of that. So you look up a guide, you learn from somebody else how to do it. Imagine if in real life, you're trying to do your first push-up. You try and try and try and nothing's working. So what do? You go on YouTube and you look up a video on how do I do my first push-up? Maybe the first video doesn't work, but you find another one and you find another one and you put it into practice until something gives. And all of a sudden, you're making your own progress. For anyone who's trying to quit gaming, I want you to understand that you're not a loser. It feels like you are right now because you haven't been making progress in real life. And this is a very real feeling. You play games and maybe you're leveling up, maybe you're ranking up, but then you log off and you're just sat there with your feelings. And you realize that you haven't done anything. You have not accomplished anything. You are nothing. That's how it feels. That's how it felt for me, at least. I really had this strong feeling of inadequacy and this feeling of, I want to do something different. I want to change my life. I want to improve my life, but I didn't know how. The first thing you need to do is, like I said, quit with intent and replace those activities with other things. We talked about competition. What about social, right? All my friends and I, we all grew up playing video games together. It was just something that we did. Can you talk to people in real life? Of course you can. Of course you can, right? What other interests and hobbies do you have? I recently took archery classes, met some really cool people there. I recently have been going to like real estate investor meetups, meeting some really interesting people there. You know, catching up with old friends, but instead of meeting up to play games at a LAN party or meeting up online on Discord to play for hours on end, it's like, hey, let's go grab lunch. Let's go grab coffee. Let's go, let's just go out for a walk and like catch up. Like, I haven't seen you in a bit. How you doing? Right? So take that social aspect of gaming and implement it into your real life as well. Another huge reason we play video games is for that feeling of progress. And this is the biggest one that I think you need to replace with actual real life habits. The same way that you can take that energy that you spend looking up videos, tutorials, streamers, looking up guides, looking up patch notes, and, just like trying to stay on top of the gaming world. Do that for anything in real life, and you'll notice pretty quickly that you'll be progressing at a ridiculous pace. Again, I started taking up fitness, nutrition, and exercise. That was the biggest time sink that I replaced gaming with. That and cooking. And ever since then, I've had the best physique I've ever had in my entire life. I've been the strongest I've ever been in my entire life. And this was after being an athlete for my entire life and thinking that I had peaked in my high school year as far as physicality. I honestly feel like I've peaked again in life at 27, 28 years old. It's really interesting. And the best thing about taking that energy and putting it somewhere else is that you start to see that you can make changes in your own life. You start to see that you can make real progress in your own life. And the same way that you get addicted to leveling up in a video game, you will start to get addicted to that feeling of leveling up in real life, because no longer do you log off from the game and feel pity for not changing your life. Now you get to wake up and see it and feel it and be immersed in it. This gets to be your new every single day. It's no longer a dream. You live it. You go through it. Just imagine for a second how happy you would be if you could wake up and be surrounded by all the things in life that you've always wanted. It's possible. But you got to put the time in, and you have to be consistent. Imagine if instead of going home and playing for 2 hours every day, you went home, opened up your spreadsheets, and worked on your business for 2 hours a day. Imagine if you went to the gym and just worked out for an hour every single day. Imagine if you spent 30 minutes cooking every single day. Healthy foods, clean foods. Imagine how much your life would change. Imagine if you took away the time that you spend staying up late and just slept. Imagine just getting 2 extra hours of sleep every single day. I promise you, that can change your life by itself. Sleep is so underrated, and I wish I knew this earlier, but getting 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night is not healthy. And that brain fog you feel, you don't have to feel it. But you have to take care of yourself. And in order to take care of yourself, you need to shift your priorities. Doesn't mean that you can't play video games ever. But I do feel that if you really want to see progress in your life, you're going to have to ditch that habit and replace it with some new ones. Man, that's nice. That's all I really got for you today. And until next time.